Yo, what's happening, guys? It's your boy Uncle B with another episode of Uncle B's podcast. We are going to have a busy week, guys. Imagine South Africa having... I can't even imagine it because this is insane. Imagine every single person living in South Africa is poor. Every single person. White, Indian, colored, foreigner, you name it. Every single one of us, we are poor. This is literally the poverty rate of Nigeria. This video is from 2022. We are in 2025. So that means this number is even higher. What are you talking about, Uncle P? Well, let's watch.
This week on the 77% Street Debate.
Of course, if they're going to develop this very place, it has to go down because there's nothing for you to renovate here.
In 5 years, you are going to see a fancy estate here that is going to be sold to people who cannot afford it. Think of the 5 big billionaires. They can't even spend their wealth in a lifetime. And there's a community existing like this. So would they take those kind of money to hell or to heaven?
I just wanted to break down that last statement. He's right. Most of these rich people will never be able to finish the money that they have. They'll never be able to do much with this money. But you see, the problem is, guys, if you watched my previous video for the money ritual, you need to understand that the reason most of these billionaires and millionaires don't do much for their communities and their people is because their money is not acquired the way it's supposed to be acquired. They acquire their money in such a way that when they want to give it away, they actually have that fear of, what if I get caught? And when I get caught, I lose everything, and I helped all these people who are not going to come and fight for me. So F them, let all of us suffer. People who are doing crime and fraud, they never think of other people because you're acquiring your money in a way that hurts other people. This is going to be a very interesting episode. Let's watch further.
And welcome back to the 77%. This week we are in Lagos, Nigeria, more specifically we're in Makoko, an informal area in this place. Now recently, or the most recent figures by the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics indicate that about 80 million people are living in extreme poverty. This means people who earn just over $300 a year. But the World Bank estimates that that figure will probably have shot up to 100 million by the end of this year, that's 2022. And so we're wondering, how do those people who live in extreme poverty live side by side with some of the richest on the continent? And
by the end of 2022, guys, we are in 2025. That number is going to shoot up to 100 million. So that number is way above 100 million now. Nigeria has a poverty population larger than the population of South Africa. Let that sink in. Guys, I don't know. Kuluma, Bua, Prat, which one must I do? Nigeria has a poverty population larger than the population of South Africa, Zambia, what other country? Namibia, Botswana, all of us put together. They have a poverty population larger than all of these countries put together. And South Africa's land mass is larger than Nigeria's. Guys, imagine their poverty level overshadows this country times 2. That means if we took every single poor person in Nigeria, they will double the population of South Africa. And these are the people we are arguing and associating with. Are you guys understanding what I'm trying to say? So look in your house right now. Look at everyone in your family. You, your wife, your children, if you have. Imagine all of you, all of us, we are all living in poverty. Dire, not just poverty, like extreme poverty. Would you not do anything possible to try and get out of that place? Not even try and fix it. Get out. Let's watch.
What does that disparity do to our society? Well, I've got here a panel of very good-looking people who are ready to speak to me. And I'm going to start with Henry, who works for Oxfam. And you also did a report on inequality. But before we get to your findings, this is the first time that you're here in Makoko. Just give me your views so far. What do you think?
It's quite disheartening to see on ground what we analyze on paper or somewhere on television or in the media. I haven't seen why this place is so disassociated from the rest of the country. I haven't quite seen a people as impoverished as I'm seeing here today.
Nigerian, you guys are masculine men, big. Africa guy is a big guy. Why is this sounding so feminine? It's like that other guy from the previous video we were grilling. Where is this femininity coming from? Goopy, Sorry, this wasn't supposed to be a grilling. Excuse you. Back to the video. I can't see a grown-ass man, grown as big.
I haven't seen an environment as deserted as I'm seeing here today. I haven't quite seen lack of government presence like I'm seeing here today. It's quite disheartening, I must say.
All right. So I want to ask Noah, who, by the way, we are at a school, and Noah is the one who runs the school. And so you live in this area. How does it feel to hear that your fellow Lagosians who live just next door have never been here?
In this kind of situation, the richer gets richer and the poor get poorer. Because this is a community that has been existing for more than 100 years. And the population of people living on water here is more than 100,000 people. Thousands of children are at home without education. And this is inequality.
That's a community that has been existing for over 100 years. And then Ajim wants to convince us that Nigeria is the best vacation spot. It's going to be 2025's best country to go visit. When 100 years, their government has seen that nonsense. The people who colonized them left them with that nonsense. We're there with that. And you have faith and hope that these people will one day change. Okay.
And there's no government presence in these communities.
Okay, let me speak to Nkem for a second. So the people you're assisting come from these sorts of communities, but is it common for you to hear that the people who live in these communities are excluded, as Henry was saying, from the rest of society?
Yes, so most of these women are really excluded from, like, for us, the financial system. So most of them, they are left behind. So we are coming to bridge that gap because, like you see, most of those women, they don't have collateral. Some of them don't have bank account. They do not have it. So we help facilitate that. We help them kickstart that financial inclusion journey.
All right, before we get to, what can be done to stop this inequality, Henry, I want to come back to you because I want to understand, Makoko has been in existence, as we've heard from Noah, for over 100 years. But how did we get to this place where an entire community is living on the outskirts of a city and being excluded in every sense of the word?
The issue of poverty is not as a result of resources not being available. It's because resources are available, but a few people, that 1% or that 5%, have actually hijacked the entire resources and opportunity. And so for us, some of the drivers of inequality, right, includes political capture, right, where politics actually, those in the political arena actually capture the entire opportunity and resources. The other drivers actually include prohibitive high cost of governance, yeah?
Okay, let me ask the other. Oh, you like to add? All right, let me introduce Funmi to the conversation. Go on.
Okay, let me ask.
A very big issue that I have found out.
Oh, you would like to add? All right, let me introduce
Taxation. People in this community are fishermen. People here do not really want to leave this place. They want this place to be suitable for them to fish. And then when they get to the market where they want to sell their fish, every time someone is coming to them to say, oh, you have to pay this tax, you have to pay that tax, you have to pay this tax. Now in Nigeria, they claim that public education is free, but then before your child can access that public education, you have to show people.
Let me just pause there for a second. Guys, fishermen in that water. So they fish in that water and they sell that food. And you are wondering why these people behave the way they behave. No wonder they get offended when I'm eating on my channel. Imagine buying fish that came from that water. And then your government even expects you to pay tax. Okay, sorry. Guys, this might be, I'm not going to play the whole video, it's 25 minutes. If you guys want to watch the rest of the video, please go on TikTok and find the username is floating, but you can find these people's channel and then just watch the whole video. The 77, is it perspective? I'll find it and I'll link it up here so you guys can watch the whole video.
Of payment of tax. Unfortunately, the kind of tax that they pay is not the kind of tax that has proof that they pay tax, which means that they also have to pay another form of tax. I think it's 20,000 naira before they are enrolled into public school. So this is a reason why many people here do not have access to education, they do not have access to healthcare and other economic drivers.
Okay, let me speak to Henry because I wanted to ask him, having grown up, you grew up in Makoko, right?
Okay, so I just want to, you see, when I tell you that Nigeria doesn't keep track of anything, I'm not just talking out of my ass. Imagine the kind of tax they expect these people to pay, you can't track it. So how do you expect people to pay tax that you can't track? Who are they paying it to? You're expecting people who are living in dire poverty to pay, was it what, 20 euros worth of tax, 20,000 naira worth of tax, and you can't even tell if they pay or don't pay it. And then there's another taxation that you need to pay that will allow them to see that you pay the other tax so you can acquire free services. You know, guys, foreigners can walk into South Africa. I will show you guys in the next video that I'm putting up for Zimbabwe. They can literally walk into South Africa and immediately go to a government school and register their child and be accepted in this xenophobic country. In this country where they don't like foreigners, you can do that. A foreigner can literally walk, I'm not saying fly here, walk into this country, go to a school, no documentations whatsoever, because South Africa has human rights that work and they respect children and women specifically, and they will never turn a child or a mother away, regardless of where they come from. And that's the reason why South Africa is being taken advantage of, because of the good heart and the kindness they show to people. I want you guys to listen to this boy, and I want you to understand where the problem of Nigeria comes from. I don't want to drag this video. Go watch the rest of this video. I just wanted to play this guy. A lot happens in this video that I should break down. I should do a part 2, 3. Guys, we're not telling you I cannot run out of content when it comes to Nigeria, but I don't want to drag this because the whole mission of this channel is for us to reach a stage where Nigerians start coming here and learning from us and changing their ways. But will they ever? Let's listen.
But not on the water side, on the land side. And these are realities that you are experiencing every day.
So this guy grew up in the Makoko, but on the land side. So there's a land side. Guys, keep in mind, this is the capital city of Nigeria, Lagos. This is not some village in Pumalanga, in Durban, no, this is their capital. This is Gauteng. We don't have, Baba, we have squatter camps there, but to this extent, let's listen to this boy.
Right?
Yeah.
But not on the water side, on the land side.
Yeah, on the land
Are these the realities that you were experiencing every day? Tell me what growing up there was like.
So growing up in Makoko, for me, I would say it's like a privilege. You get a privilege in the sense that I had to, try as much as possible to learn day by day. So it has to come with parents. If your parents are educated, then definitely they will really want to push you to do more. But in a scenario whereby your parents too are not really that educated, and even the environment you find yourself, people are not pursuing that level of education, then I tell you that's why we have thousands of children roaming around the streets, not going to school.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just opportune that my parents are educated and they fight, that fight for me to make sure that I attain that degree.
Privileged to have gone. How are you privileged? I get what it means that if you have educated parents, they will do everything to try and get you out of that poverty. But how can you say privileged? To have grown on land rather than on the water. What about those? And the people who are suffering are behind them while they are saying these things, while he is claiming his privilege. Evidence to that Nigerians only care for themselves. They are individual peoples. I care for me and my people. Screw everybody else. They will do what they need to do for them. And they don't care about whoever suffers. Imagine seeing the poverty from across the street, yet you say you are privileged because your parents were educated and you managed to get a degree. They don't care for anybody but themselves. Let's listen.
But you also experienced, you didn't grow up in Makoko, but as an informal settlement as well. Was your experience similar to what we're observing?
Oh, mine is similar, but not this extreme. Because, coming from a place where you have to constantly provide for yourself, you have to constantly do things for yourself. Just like my fellow colleague said, the governments are not really interested in our well-being. We've seen government organizations come down to these communities just to take pictures, because they want to post on social media, they want to make it look like they're doing something. So I think what is the real problem is not that we don't have the resources, but the problem is they really don't see these people as our own.
Okay, let me move to Fortune, who's standing right next to you, and he's an advisor actually to a local official. Yeah. And so being the person who informs the kind of decisions that are taken to restore places like this, I guess the question is, why is nothing changing?
Okay, the truth is, what you are seeing here today is not just peculiar to this community. This thing transcends, every other African countries. And I want to be...
I want to pause before the lady talks. You see what they do? Instead of focusing on the situation at hand, they drag all the other African countries. Crime is not only done by foreigners. Even South Africans do crime. Didn't you see the story of a South African unaliving? So, didn't you... what's happening here? Give me a second, guys. I feel like we are stuttering. Didn't you see this South African story where this South African unalived this woman? So South Africans also do crime. They always want to shift blames, guys. They never take accountability. Imagine saying to these people, yeah, your situation is not unique. Even South Africans have squatter camps. That's what they do in the comments. Your situation is not unique. Even Mozambique has war. Why are you comparing yourself to other people when you should be fixing your country? So, just because Uncle P is bold, does that mean now everybody must be bold? Just because I'm bearded, does that mean everyone must be bearded? That is literally the logic being used here. Just because there's poverty in other countries, it's okay for us to be poor too. It's normal.
Believe that,
but surely not this extreme.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is this: what you are seeing here today is a result of greed. Are you getting me? It's a result of greed. The African leaders, they have not conquered greed, and that is why they are not empathic to places like this. Just like what Daniel just said, sometimes they go to these slums, they take pictures and the rest of it. Thank God I am here today and I have seen firsthand myself. I felt so very, very bad, so very, very pathetic. Like, human beings like me are living in this kind of a place. Are you getting me? That's why I said it is not just peculiar to this very place. It transcends. Are you getting me?
See the hypocrisy of this guy. Are you getting me? He's trying to... No, we are not getting you. It is your job to come to places like this and go advise the person who was supposed to bring change to these places. But yet you are saying, I'm here and I'm shocked. How are you shocked? You knew it existed. The place has been there for over 100 years. Guys, accountability is something that that Nigerians do not possess. They will always point fingers. It was that person, it was that person. They will never take accountability for the nonsense they do. And the reality is they are not ready to fix their own country. They are not ready to fix their own country. And the bad part about them not being willing to fix their own country, they don't have the... You see, they go around claiming that they are very intelligent, they are very smart, they are very educated. But what level of education do they really have? Because it seems like the only thing that they are good at doing is being fraudulent people. The only thing that they are good at doing is doing crime. The only thing that they are good at doing is destroying other people's nations. At the next episode, I'm going to show you the damage that South Africa is going through. So you can see that South Africa is about to become like a Makoko. We are sleeping, guys, and South Africa is being taken away from South Africans. How can you... Guys, this fight, stop sleeping. If the next episode doesn't scare you, then be ready to live exactly like this. I'm your boy Uncle P, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.